Well, welcome back, DIY car guys and car girls. Took Mr. Sparkles back out to the track because I replaced this plate right here. This plate is a 16-hole plate. Basically has 4 holes on each side, 4 of them being for fuel and nitrous, and that's how it distributes it into the intake. So I got this plate right here, which is a crossbar plate, which has a whole bunch more holes to distribute the nitrous. It should give the intake better distribution, and it should make all the cylinders look a little better. And it did. I got some plugs back there. We'll talk about the plugs. So that's what we're doing. So here are the plugs from the last hit. We'll talk about this in a second, but first let me show you guys the hit, and I'll show you the 60-foot. So yeah, we got a 139 60-foot, which is, I'm happy about that. I know it can get better, but that's the best that this 400 has cut since I did all the suspension mods. I put the double adjustables up front, so I tighten them down. It still comes up a little too fast, but it is the best 60-foot so far with this guy on a prep surface. And I had a 0.5 ramp. Always put a little bit of ramp in there because I rather get down the track and, you know, look at the plugs and see how everything's working on the time slip before I really try to bring it in. Because right now, like I said, I'm sneaking up on the tune. Since I had a tune-up that I kind of liked with this guy, like I said, I didn't like the fueling, so I got that other plate. So on this plate, I kind of had to start from square one because the jetting and the fueling is different jets compared to this guy right here. Of course, because it has so many different holes, so it's going to change. So the jetting of this last pass was a 58 nitrous and a 54 fuel. So here we have number 1, and we'll do the driver side first, which is going to be 1, 3, 5, and 7. This is number 1. And sometimes looking at the timing mark isn't as easy as you think. So a lot of times maybe at the top right here, you might not be able to see it. But if you look on the side, we can start to see it's right around here where the timing mark is. You see that right there? Now the fueling, I haven't had much luck looking inside here and cutting these off to get fueling. We will do it anyways, just for the people who want to see it. But what I've heard is, like, as this starts to become one color, that's kind of the hotness of it. Like for instance, if you look at this one right here, this is a brand new one, and you can see how it is all this silver color. So as that silver starts to burn off, let me find one that's a little fatter, just for a reference real quick. See right here, that one you can see that right there? How you can still see some of the cadmium that's on there, right? So that one would be a little fatter. This one will be a little more lean. So as you can see, I still think it looks pretty good. Like I said, we'll cut these off. Let's move to the next one. All right, we'll do this a little faster. This is number 3. And you can see right around here is where the time mark is, right there. You can also see it a little bit up top, but usually on the sides, you can kind of tell where the timing is. This will be number 3. You can see that it has a little more of the cadmium not burnt off there, so that one's a little fatter. Let's go to the next one. So now we're at number 5. And also, let me point this out. This is where you see your heat. When this heat starts to get into like these threads, that shows how hot it is. That's where you see your heat. So you look at this one, and the timing mark is probably, looks like it's right around there. I can see a little different in color right here. Let me see if you can see it in this side. Yeah, right there also. So I say the timing is probably pretty much the same. And you can see the fueling right there. This is what I was told by E85 also. You kind of look at the fueling and how much of this CAD is burnt off. Let's go on to 7. And here we have number 7. Let's first look for the timing mark. And you can see it. Look at both sides. That one's kind of right there. But you look at the other side, you can see it right around here. So this one looks to be the hottest one. That's the reason why I make more than the hottest, but the most timing. And look, yep, it is hotter. See that? See how most of the CAD is all burnt off? You know, this looks like it's down lower than the other one, so this one's hotter. So what this tells me is the timing's better. The straps are a little more in the same spot, but in this tune-up, I probably could have pulled another degrees out, honestly. Okay, now we're on the passenger side bank. And if you look right here, you can see right there, and you can kind of see it up top too. There's a distinguishing line, maybe hard to see on camera, but if you put it in the light right, you can see right here is where the time mark is. The fueling, you can see this is probably fatter. Not all the CAD's burnt off. And the heat, yeah, look, see how the heat's not down as far as the other one, right around here. So this one is definitely colder. Let's go on to the next one. This goes 2, 4, 6, 8, because we're on the even side. And this one, you can see the timing marks right around there. And let's look at the heat in this guy. Look all the way around. Looks like it's a little hotter. And you can see right here, you don't see too much CAD burnt off. So this guy is not too bad actually either. All right, so this one's easy to see the timing mark. It is clearly right here. You can see it up top, clearly right there. And we'll just kind of look around it. The heat looks pretty good. So this one is probably the best looking plug out of them all, and that is number 6. Let's move on to number 8. And here we have the last one, number 8, before we cut them apart. And this one also is easy to see the timing mark. It's right there. Actually, it may be kind of up here. You can see a difference in the heat right there. And this one looks like, let's look at it from the side. See the heat's coming down to that first strap. I still think this is all pretty safe. I could definitely use one more degree out on the other side, which we can do once I upgrade my box. So my box is just the everyday run-of-the-mill 6AL. If a grid or a programmable 7 will actually give you individual cylinder timing, even with a distributor. What it does, it puts a little sync on a number 1, and then it uses number 1 as the sync, and that way you can pull individual cylinder timing on every single cylinder, which will make all those timing straps. You see them kind of up here and on there. You can take a degree out of here, degree out of there, which I think is on nitrous and E85 especially is extremely important to do individual cylinder timing. I know one of you guys are going to say, hey, if you're running EFI sequential, you can do individual like cylinder, like fueling, which I know. Maybe one day when I get all the money for that, we'll step up to that. But for right now, I'm running on a carburetor and I got a plate, so timing is the next best step for me. If you're curious how I cut my threads off of the plugs right here, I'm not saying this is the best way, I'm not saying it's the easiest way, it's just the tools that I have at my disposal that can do it. I'll just get it tied on there, turn it the opposite direction the blade is spinning, and then oh, now we are. It came off. So there you go. That's how I do it. I'm not saying it's the best way. I'm not saying it's the easiest way. It's the way I do it though. We will look at 4 at a time just to speed this video along. I'm probably not going to do the fuel testing of this one. I'll break it up. But it looks like number, what is this? I think this is 8. Yeah, this is 8. It goes in to out. So this is, no, that's number 7. It looks like number 7 is the fattest, and it has more of the cadmium burnt off on it, which is interesting. You can hardly see it, but it's there. This one you see some more. It's a little less, and you see less of the cadmium burnt off right there. Next one, you can see it slightly. Like I said, you can't not read E85 like gas plugs. Gas plugs, you want to see a fuel ring right around here. You're not going to see that E85. I'm telling you, like 12.5 NA hits that I made, these things come out looking even wider. You can't see nothing. If you make a couple of hits, you can then start to see the fueling. But maybe I'll do that, make a couple of hits and 1 plugs. Once I find a tune-up that I think is pretty safe, we'll make like 2 hits with the same plugs. I'll cut them open again later on and we'll see. This one, you can see a little tiny bit right there too, but you can see a tiny little bit, you know, of the fueling right down there at the bottom. You can kind of see it. This one looks to be the most lean, but this is way better than it was before. The last plate, I think it was maybe this one or that one, but 2 of them in here were very distinct compared to the other ones. So let's look at the other bank real quick. All right. Don't pay attention to this, because that's where the cutoff wheel is hitting it. You're only paying attention from this side up right here, because that part is clamped around here. So only pay attention to this up. Whoops, well, that one looks very similar to the other side right here. This one actually has the most distinct line. Can you see that right there? That has a good distinct line. Let's see how this one looked. And that one looks like it has a little less heat in it, probably due to the fuel. Maybe I mixed the other side up, I don't know, but we're looking at this right now. This one, you can definitely see a little more, and this one, you see a little more. So it appears that the passenger side bank looks to be fatter than the driver's side, from at least what I'm seeing here. Well, that's it for this video. I'm gonna do some more testing with, I'll show you guys the hydrometer and how it, some people say you have to use the hydrometer if you don't know how much water is in the ethanol. I think that might be true for something that's all ethanol, but I've tested out the pump E85 and the Sunoco Race E85, and that hydrometer reads them both as 100% ethanol. But when you use the water test, it shows that it's, you know, it has gas in there. Now, like I said, this has 2% of something in there, because by law, you have to, you can't sell ethanol since you can consume it, you know, like alcohol. For it to be a race fuel, they have to put some type of poison in there. So I'm not sure what the 2% hydrocarbons are, but it is pretty much just completely ethanol. And I still use that in the enrichment. I've used Pump 85 and the Sunoco 85. I haven't really seen a difference in performance. I'm not really doing it for performance wise, like, you know, getting the more expensive fuel. I'm mainly doing it to see, do the plugs look better? Is it safer? So buying the better fuel from Pump, for my reasons, is just strictly just to keep it, you know, being safe. I don't think, you know, the small amount of nitrous I'm throwing at it is going to help at all, you know, for now. We'll eventually get this guy worked up some more nitrous, but I do think if I'm going to go over, you know, a 175, my converter's too loose for one thing, and if I want to go above that, I definitely need to get a tighter converter and a better ignition box. But hopefully eventually we'll get there. Hope you guys enjoy it. Until next time, keep on wrenching and peace.